They called the waiter a thief, until they found his wallet full of blessings. Sir, please. I didn't take anything, the waiter whispered, his hands trembling as the restaurant's overhead lights flickered above him. The entire dining hall went silent. Forks stopped midair. Chairs froze in place. Only the sound of a woman's angry breath broke through the tension. You expect me to believe that? She snapped. My gold bracelet was right here. And now it's gone. You were the only one who came to this table. The waiter Arov stood completely still, his heartbeat thundering inside his chest. People were staring, some with suspicion, some with disgust, and some with that cruel curiosity humans get when they smell drama. Please, he said again. I didn't steal anything. Then empty your pockets, the woman demanded. Arov swallowed hard. His jaw tightened, not because he was guilty but because he knew what he was hiding, what he couldn't let them see. A tall man near the corner raised his voice. If he didn't take it, he wouldn't hesitate. Why is he scared? Arov's fingers twitched. Because it's personal. Personal. The one word that turned every head. What's in your pocket? Someone whispered. What is he hiding? Another murmured. His manager rushed over, sweating. Arov, just show them. If you're innocent, prove it. Arov closed his eyes. He thought of his mother, her voice, her last wish, and the promise he made. I can't, he breathed. The room erupted. Thief. Fire him. Call the police. But before anyone could grab him, a calm voice spoke from behind. Let him breathe. Everyone turned. A young man dressed simply, quiet, observant had been watching everything from the start. His name, Daniel. No one knew him. No one noticed him. Until now. He stepped forward slowly. Eyes steady. Let's find the truth, he said softly. A hush fell. But the truth, Daniel would soon learn, was far heavier than any stolen bracelet, and what Arov was hiding would break everyone in that room. What's your name? Daniel asked gently, standing just a few inches from Arov. Arov, he whispered. Daniel nodded. Arov, I'm not here to attack you. Just talk to me. Why can't you show them? Arov's throat tightened. He glanced at the crowd, hungry for accusations, craving a villain. Because it's all I have left, he said softly. What do you mean? Daniel asked. Arov hesitated, then lowered his head. It's my mother's wallet. Somebody scoffed loudly. Oh please. Another emotional story to hide his crime. But Daniel's eyes softened. Your mother's wallet. Why keep it in your pocket at work? Arov's fingers pressed tightly against the fabric over his heart. Because it still smells like her. The room fell slightly quieter. Arov continued, voice shaking but steadying with each memory. She passed away 2 months ago. In the hospital. I wasn't ready. I'm still not. She used to tell me, Beta, whenever you feel scared, put your hand on this wallet and remember I'm with you. So I keep it with me. Every day. Every shift. It gives me courage. A few people shifted uneasily in their seats. The woman who lost her bracelet rolled her eyes. Touching, but irrelevant. My bracelet is still missing. Daniel turned to her. Ma'am, 1 minute, please. Then back to Arov. Okay. I understand the sentimental value. But why can't you take it out just to prove you're not hiding something else? Arov swallowed. That was the part he didn't want anyone to know. Inside that wallet were things more fragile than money, more painful than memories. He looked Daniel in the eyes that weren't judging him. Because there are letters inside. Things she wrote to me. Private things. I've never read them in front of anyone. They're the most sacred things I own. The crowd stared, slightly disarmed. Daniel said softly, Arov, nobody wants to invade something sacred. But if showing the wallet can save your job, your dignity, my mother's dignity, Arov corrected. She wrote things about our life, about our struggles, about me. People will laugh. Daniel breathed deeply. He understood now. This wasn't about a bracelet. It was about a boy still holding onto the last thread of his mother's presence. But before Daniel could speak again, a sudden gasp echoed from the woman's table. Wait, what is that doing here? Everyone rushed to look. Her bracelet was lying underneath her napkin, exactly where she left it. But the story was nowhere near over. There, the woman cried, snatching up her bracelet. It must have slipped under the napkin. The entire restaurant went awkwardly silent. Someone whispered, "So, the waiter didn't steal it." Another muttered, "Then why did she accuse him like that?" Arav let out a trembling breath of relief until she turned sharply toward him. "You still look suspicious," she snapped. "You should have shown your pockets right away. Maybe you hid something else." The crowd shifted again, some ashamed, some embarrassed, but nobody brave enough to admit they were wrong. Daniel clenched his jaw. "Ma'am, the bracelet was under your own napkin?" "Yes, but he refused to cooperate," she insisted. "That tells me enough about his character." Arav's chest tightened, his eyes stinging. He whispered, "Why are people so quick to believe the worst about someone poor?" "That's enough," his manager barked. "Arav, whether you stole or not, your attitude has caused a scene. Go to the back." Arav stared at him, stunned. "Sir, please. I did nothing wrong." "Go." The manager repeated. Arav lowered his head and walked away slowly, each step heavier than the last. Daniel followed him. "Arav," he said softly. "Wait." Arav turned, eyes red. "Why does the truth hurt more than the lie?" Daniel sighed deeply. "Because lies are loud. Truth is quiet." Arav wiped his face. "My mother used to say the same." A small smile tugged at Daniel's lips. "Your mother sounds wise." Arav nodded. "She was everything." Before Daniel could respond, a booming voice from across the restaurant shouted, "Hey, the kid didn't show his pockets. Who knows what else he's hiding?" A few others murmured in agreement. Daniel stepped forward, anger rising. "Are you serious? The real thief, if there was one, would be long gone by now." But the crowd wasn't ready to let go of their villain. A man sneered, "If he's so innocent, maybe he should prove it." Arav's breath caught, because they didn't want proof. They wanted someone to blame, and the person they chose was him. But before Daniel could speak, Arav suddenly collapsed to his knees. "Arav!" Daniel rushed forward, grabbing his shoulders before he hit the ground entirely. Arav clutched his chest, gasping for air. "My inhaler? I left it in the back." The crowd stepped away as if his pain was contagious. Daniel shouted, "Why is nobody helping?" But people only watched, some with guilt, some with fear, most with indifference. Daniel lifted him halfway. "Come on, stay with me." Arav whispered, "It's happening again?" "What is?" A tear escaped Arav's eye. "The same thing that happened the night my mother died. I couldn't breathe then either, and I couldn't save her." Daniel's heart cracked open. Hey, look at me. You're not alone this time." But suddenly Arav's manager appeared and hissed, "Get him out of sight. Customers don't like scenes." Daniel stared at him in disbelief. "Are you insane? He needs help. It's just anxiety." The manager snapped. "He gets like this when he's stressed. That doesn't mean you ignore him." "Look," the manager said coldly, "he's already on thin ice. He's slow. He gets emotional, and customers complain. I can't risk the restaurant's reputation." Daniel froze. Arav heard every word. His breath hitched, pain mixing with humiliation. Is that what you think of me?" The manager sighed. "Arav, you're a nice kid, but you're a burden. I can't keep someone who keeps bringing trouble." Daniel's fists tightened. "He didn't cause trouble. You all did." Arav forced himself to stand, leaning on Daniel. "Sir, if you fire me, where will I go? I'm alone. This job, it's all I have." The manager shrugged. "Not my problem." Daniel felt rage boiling. "You're heartless." The manager walked away. Arav's breathing steadied slightly, but his expression was broken like a child abandoned in the middle of a storm. "Daniel," he whispered, "maybe they're right. Maybe I am a burden." Daniel placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "No, you're not." Arav looked up through tear-stained lashes. "Then why does the world treat me like one?" Before Daniel could answer, a waiter came running. "Daniel, you need to see this." Daniel turned. "What happened now?" The waiter pointed to the security office. "It's about Arav's mother. You need to watch the camera footage." Daniel's blood ran cold. They hurried to the small security room. A guard sat in front of a monitor, rewinding footage. Daniel frowned. "What are we looking for?" The guard pointed. "This, on the screen, just minutes before the chaos a small boy approached the woman's table. He picked up the bracelet, looked around nervously, then accidentally dropped it under the napkin when his mother called him. Daniel's jaw dropped. So the kid lifted it and dropped it. Exactly. Does the woman know? No. Daniel's eyes darkened. She accused Arav without checking anything. The guard nodded, and everyone followed her lead. Daniel turned toward Arav, who stood silently in the corner, arms around himself. Arav, Daniel whispered, you were innocent, completely. Arav didn't smile, didn't cry, didn't react. He just said, it doesn't matter. People already decided I was guilty. Daniel stepped close, but the truth won't change anything. Arav finished. They saw me as a thief. That's enough. Once they see you that way, they don't unsee it. Daniel shook his head. No, I'll make them listen. Arav touched his arm gently. Daniel, don't. Why not? Arav took a shaky breath. Because I'm tired. Tired of proving my worth. Tired of fighting. Tired of being treated like dirt. Daniel exhaled slowly. You shouldn't have to fight alone. Arav whispered. Everyone fights alone. Daniel suddenly reached into Arav's pocket slowly, gently, and pulled out the old wallet. Arav panicked. Daniel, please don't open it here. But Daniel didn't open it. Instead, he held it with both hands, as if it were something sacred. He said softly, your mother gave you this to protect you, not to make you hide. Arav stared at the worn leather, tears welling. It's the only thing that still feels like her. Daniel looked at him with quiet pain. Then let her protect you now. Before Arav could respond, Daniel stepped out of the security room, wallet still in hand. Daniel, Arav called, breath-catching. Daniel stopped. This ends now, he said. And he walked toward the crowded restaurant, ready to reveal everything. Daniel stepped into the center of the restaurant. Conversations died instantly. Every eye shifted to him. He lifted the old wallet gently. This belongs to Arav. Whispers sparked across the room. That's what he refused to show. Maybe it does have the bracelet, or other stolen things. Daniel raised his voice. It has one thing only. His mother. Confusion rippled. Daniel continued. Inside this wallet are letters she wrote before she died. Things she never got to say. He keeps it close because it's all he has left. The woman scoffed. What does that have to do with my bracelet? Daniel locked eyes with her. Everything. He nodded at the guard, who stepped forward holding a tablet with the footage. Your son, Daniel said softly, picked up your bracelet, accidentally dropped it under the napkin. Arav never touched it. Gasps. Shock. Silence thick enough to choke on. The woman's face turned pale. And my son. But he is a child, Daniel said gently, and children make mistakes. But you made a bigger one. She looked at Arav standing at the back, eyes lowered, hands shaking. Shame crawled across her expression. I didn't know. Daniel's voice cracked with anger. You didn't ask. You didn't check. You just assumed the poor waiter was a thief. People looked down, unable to meet Arav's gaze. Daniel took a deep breath and held up the wallet again. He refused to open this because he was protecting his mother's dignity, while all of you tried to take his away. Arav's manager stepped forward, sweating. Look, maybe we overreacted. Daniel snapped. You called him a burden. In front of everyone, the manager froze. The entire restaurant stared at him. Daniel turned, walking toward Arav, and placed the wallet gently into his hands. You don't owe them anything, Daniel whispered. Arav's tears finally fell. But why are you helping me? Daniel swallowed hard. Because once, I was exactly where you are. Arav looked up, confused. What do you mean? Daniel didn't answer. Not yet. But the story he was about to tell would silence the entire room. Daniel stepped forward. His voice softened, dropping into a place of deep memory. When I was 17, he began, I worked as a janitor. One day a wallet went missing. Expensive, belonging to someone powerful. They didn't look for evidence. They didn't ask questions. They just pointed at me. Arav's eyes widened slightly. Daniel continued. People searched my bag, my pockets, even my shoes. And when they found nothing, they still didn't apologize. The room stayed painfully silent. Daniel's voice cracked. They fired me, labeled me, humiliated me, and my mother. She held me as I cried. She said, "Beta, the world will doubt you before it knows you. Don't lose yourself." Arav whispered, "Your mother sounds like mine." Daniel nodded. She passed away the next year. Cancer. Arav's breath caught. "So, when I saw you today," Daniel whispered, "I saw myself. I saw the boy nobody stood up for, and I promised myself." He exhaled shakily. "Never again." The woman who accused Arav suddenly stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was stressed. The bracelet was expensive. I panicked." Arav looked at her weakly. "It's okay." "No," Daniel said sharply. "It's not okay. Fear doesn't give anyone permission to break someone else." The woman covered her mouth, guilt flooding her face. "Arav, I hope one day you forgive me." Arav looked down at the wallet. "My mother always said, forgiveness frees the one who forgives." He took a shaky breath. "So, yes, I forgive you." Silence washed over the room, soft, heavy, almost sacred. Then Arav turned to his manager. "And you, sir, do you still think I'm a burden?" The manager's face flushed with shame. "Arav, I was wrong. You're not a burden. You're one of the hardest workers here." Arav whispered, "Then treat me like one." The manager nodded quickly. I will." Daniel placed a gentle hand on Arav's shoulder, but before anyone could take another breath, Arav opened the old wallet. Something fluttered out, a small folded paper. Letter. His mother's handwriting. Everyone watched as Arav slowly unfolded it, and the words inside changed everything. Arav single quotes. S fingers trembled as he opened the fragile paper. His mother's voice seemed to echo from between the lines. He read aloud, barely above a whisper, "My sweet Arav, if you're reading this, it means you're facing something hard. Life will not always be kind to you. People will not always see your heart. But promise me one thing. Don't stop being good, even when the world is cruel. Your goodness is your inheritance. Your kindness is your strength. And your heart is your blessing." A tear slipped down Arav's cheek, landing on the ink, blurring one word. He continued, "When people doubt you, let your actions answer. When they hurt you, let forgiveness free you. And when you feel alone, remember, I am with you, always, in every breath you take." Arav pressed the letter against his chest, sobbing softly. The restaurant stood frozen. No clinking dishes, no murmured conversations, no footsteps, just raw human silence. Daniel stepped closer. "She raised a good man." Arav looked up through shimmering tears. "I just want to make her proud." "You already have." A gentle wave of emotion swept through the room. Even the woman who accused him was crying openly now. One customer walked forward. "Arav, we misjudged you. We're sorry." Another joined. Then another. One by one, people formed a small circle around him, not trapping him, but supporting him. And then something unexpected happened. A little boy. The boy walked up to Arav, clutching a small toy car. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I touched the bracelet. I didn't mean to." Arav kneeled down, wiped the boy's tear with his thumb, and smiled softly. "It's okay. Accidents happen." The child threw his arms around Arav's neck. A single image froze in everyone's mind. A thief comforting the child who accidentally caused his humiliation. Daniel felt tears sting his own eyes. Arav stood slowly, holding his mother's wallet close. He whispered, more to himself than anyone, "Maybe blessings aren't in the wallet. Maybe they're in the people who stay." Daniel nodded. "And in the ones who rise." Arav took a long breath, steady, calm, whole. The crowd watched as he returned to his work area, shoulders no longer bent, steps no longer hesitant. For the first time, he didn't look small. He looked seen. Daniel watched him quietly, then whispered toward the empty chair where Arav's mother once might have sat, "He's going to be okay." And somewhere, whether in memory or heaven, a mother smiled. Moral: never judge a person by their struggles. Sometimes the poorest hands carry the richest hearts.